Hi class, today we are on Saxon Math Book 3, Lesson 56, and we'll be talking about multiplication facts for ones, zeros, and tens. And I have a couple tricks to share with you today. So the first trick is anything, absolutely anything, times 0 equals 0. Here's how you can remember that until it becomes a habit for you. Think of 0 groups of 2. We've got Oreos, everybody's got 2 Oreos per group, but you have 0 groups of 2 Oreos. How many Oreos do you have? None, because you don't have any groups. So anything times 0 is going to be 0. So super easy. You might see a problem like this. You see that big fat 0 and you go 0. You might see a problem like this. It does not matter what this number is, how big it is, how small it is, whatever this number might happen to be, it doesn't matter. If you're multiplying it times 0, your answer is 0. You get nothing. 0 groups of anything is equal to nothing, 0, okay? Our next super easy trick here is times 1. Anything times 1 is going to equal itself. So if I have that one group of 2 Oreos, how many Oreos do you have? 2 Oreos. If I have one group of 10, how many do I have? 10. One group of 612, you're going to have 612. So anything times 0 is 0, and anything times 1 is going to equal itself. So we can go back to that 5 instead of times 0. Now it's 5 times 1. I have 5. I can go back to my super huge number here. 1,234,567 times 1 is going to equal 1,234,567. Anything times 1 equals itself. So once you have those two tricks down, then you've already know 2 of your multiplication lines. The last lesson that we did, I showed you a multiplication table, and I showed you how to fill it in, counting by 1s, counting by 2s, counting by 3s. You can use those multiplication tables to find answers to multiplication facts. But by the end of 3rd grade, I want you to have all those answers in your head. Just like you have your addition facts memorized, you have your subtraction facts memorized, you've got to have your multiplication facts memorized too. So we're going to start today with the zeros, the ones, and let me show you the tens trick. So 10 is kind of cool. If we look at the digits, we mix a 1 and a 0. So anything times 10, we'll start with our 5. Anything times 10, we start by looking at the 1, and we say, oh, anything times 1 is itself. So 5 times 1 is 5. But since we're not multiplying times 1 here, we're multiplying times 10, we have to take this 0 and tack it on to the end of our number. So 10 times 5 is 50. So when we multiply times 10, we're really doing 1 times whatever the number is, and we get itself, and then we take our 0 and we tack it on to the end, because we're not talking about one group of 5, we're talking about 10 groups of 5, or we can flip that statement around and say we're talking about 5 groups of 10. So how many 10s do we have? 5. And if we have 5 10s, the value is going to be 50. Okay, so let's try that with some different numbers. Let's do maybe 11 times 10. So we kind of split it apart. We ignore the 0 for now, and we say, well, what's 1 times 11? 1 times anything equals itself. All right, but we're not doing 1, we're doing 10. So we take this 0 and tack it on to the end. Okay, so 11 times 10 is 110. Let's go back to my 1 million number. 1,234,567 times 10. Again, we don't have to count by over a million 10 times. That would be crazy. We know the trick. We can say, okay, times 1. Actually, I'm not going to put the commas in quite yet, because I know this 0 is going to change where those commas go. So I've got my digits, same digits I have here, but since I'm multiplying by 10, I tack on a 0 to the end. So now I need to put in my commas every 3 digits. So 1 there and 1 there. So now it's 12,345,670 is our answer. Okay? So those are our tricks. For practice today, I want to try something different. Instead of writing down the problems and you guys writing down the answers, we're going to try kind of a verbal drill. I'm going to shout out a multiplication fact. It's either going to be 0s, 1s, or 10s, and I want you to shout out the answer at your TV screen. Okay? After I give the fact, I'll give you a second to come up with the answer, and then I will tell it to you. See if you're right. Maybe keep track of how many of them you get right. Ready? 12 times 0. 0. 16 times 0. 0. 0 times 247. 0. Are you seeing the trick here? The pattern? Anything times 0 is 0. All right, let's do 6 times 1. 6. 1 times 12. 12. 24 times 1. 24. 367 times 1. 367. I hope you're keeping up with me here. 0 times 54. 0. 16 times 1. 16. 10 times 2. 20. 13 times 10. That's a little harder. Can you tack the 0 onto the end there? 130 should be your answer. 7 times 10. 70. 12 times 0. 0. 7 times 1. 7. 13 times 1. 13. 5 times 10. 50. All right, boys and girls, you will need to continue practicing these facts on a daily basis so that they can really get buried into your brain and they come automatically, just like counting, just like your addition and subtraction facts. If you don't have a way to practice your multiplication facts at home, I highly recommend mobymax.com. If you're one of my students, you already have an account, so talk to me if you need your login information and password. If you have just found me out in the YouTube universe, your parent can sign you up for a free mobymax.com account. The free account doesn't get you everything, but it gives you access to quite a bit, and you can practice your math facts. There's a section called Fact Fluency, which times you and gives you really good fact practice if you use it for a couple minutes every day. So I highly recommend that. If you are my student, please make sure that you are on MobyMax. Your goal by the end of 3rd grade is to have 100% of your multiplication facts completed. And next year, by the end of 4th grade, you'll need to have your division facts completed on MobyMax as well. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you soon.